Hello, hello, hello. This is Jake Haupert, co-founder of the Transformational Travel Council. Again, live from Seward Park in Seattle. Going to dive into our special, with our special guest, Robert Wise, into travel and our search for meaning. Robert recently graduated from our 3-day Transformational Travel Design program last July, facilitated by Ivana. And yeah, I'm just really happy to have you here today, Robert. Maybe you could share a little bit about yourself and Intention Journeys.
Yeah, hey, thanks so much for having me. So the whole idea behind Intention Journeys is really to get back to the heart of why we travel and connecting to that deep meaning and why we're about to embark on a journey. And so it's getting back to that and becoming clear and then organizing a journey based around that intention. And yeah, I would say, it aligns by bringing a lot of my passions into it, which is breath work, mindful outdoor experiences, and really guiding people back to the heart of why they are wanting to travel. And yeah.
I love it. I love it. Robert, right on. So we'll start with you though, with going into your reason, your why for doing this work. Tell me a little bit about how travel and outdoor experiences has played a role in your life search for meaning.
Yeah, great question. I would say that it all comes down to expanding my awareness. Whenever I step into the unknown, out of my current environment and step into a new environment, my awareness expands. And so with travel and connecting with the living earth, nature, it really provides that container and that environment to expand and learn from new people, new cultures. Yeah, it's just stepping out of like this box and opening up to the world. And there's so many lessons that the world has for us if we're open to them. And so that's kind of for me where it's been whenever I've traveled, it's really expanded my awareness. And I've always come back with new insights and new awarenesses, and being able to integrate those is where it's really the most impactful for me. And how do I take what I learned and apply it to my life back home? Yeah.
Yeah. Travel and at that intersection or of meaning, right, and purpose is such a challenging place to find for a lot of people, right? Like how do you support your travelers and their search for meaning? When we talk about, what you mentioned, opening them up, right? That typically isn't how travel advisors and tour operators work. They're not really working with the client to open them up. Maybe tell me a little bit about how you open them up and prepare them to be present and to travel with that in the search of meaning.
Yeah. Well, it's my experience, and what I believe is that we all have an intention, whether or not we're tuned into it when we decide we want to go travel. And so really, it's becoming clear on what that intention is and guiding the participants into an experience that's curated around that intention, so they can actually kind of align with what they're looking for in their life and with that intention. And so it's really being able to use questioning and guidance to get back into that state of, well, why am I traveling? Why is it important to me to go on this experience? And really, once we become clear on that, being able to facilitate an experience that aligns them with that intention and why they're actually embarking on a journey.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been working with this group called the Transformation Economy Collaborative, and one of the most important elements of that is the diagnostic, right at the beginning, like having an understanding of where they're at. What is the experience of life that they're having in that moment? What is their why? What called them to the adventure? So, couldn't agree with you more. The impact that it has, on the places and people that they visit is I think it's underestimated, right? Like I think that when you get someone to be more present and be more intentional and be more mindful, it completely shifts how they engage the people and the places, and that's a felt experience on their end, wouldn't you say?
I totally agree. Yeah. And yeah, it changes the whole experience. It changes how they interact with the people that are in the locations they're traveling. And so, yeah, it all goes back to that, you know, that meaning making, before as we're traveling, if we can make meaning with the place that we're in and orienting to that place, it really deepens and develops a relationship and hopefully a reciprocity. And in that reciprocity, there's different things that, the traveler will experience. And so will the people that live in the place where they're going. And so, yeah, I totally agree that when we travel with intention and meaning, it completely influences how we interact with the environment that we're in
Mhm.
and people and the living beings, that are in that environment.
Right, right. There's more of a reverence there, right? Like that's what we found.
Good word.
That
Yeah.
reciprocity, right? That reciprocity is key, right? It opens up that engagement for a natural flow of energy between yourself and the people you encounter, or yourself and the natural surroundings, or yourself and an experience that you're engaged in.
Yeah.
So with that, to close it up here, as an alumni of the program, what are some tangible sort of takeaways that you got from the course for, how that helped you engage your travelers a little bit differently, maybe how you design experiences. How's it impacted the way that you do business?
Yeah, I mean, the course really provides an incredible framework to pull together all these different elements. It's one thing to have all these ideas really floating and, on how to deliver a transformational travel experience. And I feel like what the course did for me personally was pull together these elements in a strategic and beautiful framework. And so knowing, yeah, a framework of like how and when to implement different things. And it also provides, yeah, a great some ingredients to add to that. I feel like I walked away with some really tangible tools to add into the experiences I'm curating. And yeah, so there's, yeah, I would say that's probably the gist of the
Yeah.
biggest. There's a lot of value in there. And so in 3 days.
Yeah, yeah, and on that word value, right? When you working with your guests or with your travelers or with your clients, and you're able to help them connect with more meaning or even help them transform, that value that you're providing is truly extraordinary. And often that people have a disconnect in terms of like, okay, we can provide great experiences and provide great value, but that value actually drives retention, referrals, and loyalty, right? It helps you build your business in a really tangible and practical and impactful way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the community, I just want to mention too, just from that 3 days, it's really incredible to step into a container like that and then walk away knowing that you're part of a bigger community and part of a movement. And I think that's the big part of it as well, with that value that I got from the 3 day course is just, yeah, there's a movement happening. And so we're not these siloed things. It's we're
Right.
there's a group of people that are actually moving towards bigger meaning and transformational travel. And yeah.
Yeah, it gives me chills to hear you say that. I think that is such an important piece of what we're doing, is just creating that community of purpose, and we're all working toward creating a more beautiful world, and travel is our medium. And I appreciate your time today, Robert, to sharing your story and your perspectives, and thanks again for being a member and taking that leap and jumping in the course with you, even. I look forward to spending some time outside with you.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully one of these days, maybe at one of the annual gatherings.
Yeah, Transcend Brazil,
Yeah.
April 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the first time I may have mentioned it in this series, but yes, it's official, and there will be some news that we share very very soon. So keep an eye out, and I'd love to spend some time with you there. So thank you again, Robert.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jake.